Our first year in business, we did 150,000 in sales. Year two was like 172,000, followed by 270, followed by 870, then into 1 million and beyond. But it can be a long grind, and you really got to love what you're doing. In Walmart alone, we brought 40% of our customers that we brought to the category have never shopped the category before. So we are clearly doing something different and better than others. This summer, we did a summer PR box, and it's the Good Wipes Juicy Booty Beach Club. So there's a hat, there's a towel, there's product in there, and we send it to 300 to 500 influencers, and they repost it, and you get millions of organic impressions from that. And that is honestly has been our biggest lever.
All right, I am here with the founder of Good Wipes, Sam Nebel. The thing that is blowing my mind right now is their product, Good Wipes. They've sold a crap ton of them. I'm really excited because we're going to be having a lot of puns today. They are a personal hygiene product. I think you can guess what it is. I'm going to let Sam explain what it is, but they're currently in 2.2 million households. They were founded in 2013, and last year, in the last 12 months alone, they've added 430,000 households just from their Walmart channel. That's Omaha, Nebraska coming on board to the flushable wipes revolution. And it's mind-blowing. Sam, did you ever think that you would be helping as many people clean down there as you have?
Nick, I actually have thought that we would be helping this many people clean down there. I don't think I ever thought of the order of magnitude of thinking that within 52 weeks, we'd have 430,000 households the size of Omaha, Nebraska coming on to join our brand. We've always had this desire to wipe the world better.
Did you say wipe the world better? That's the phrase?
That's the phrase. I literally just came up with it.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is we're going to wipe the world better. We're
going to wipe the world better.
You started in 2013. Your founding story is pretty freaking amazing. Like you've grown like crazy. Obviously, you've raised some money. You're the fastest growing brand in the flushable wipes category, which is growing like crazy. Right now, it's like a $5 billion a year industry. Within 10 years, it's going to be an $8 billion a year industry. But take me back to the founding. How did this even come about? What was the impetus behind it?
Before we had all the numbers and the data and the sexy glam behind it, it was a very unsexy category. I met my co-founder, Charlie, in the upstairs bathroom of a fraternity house at Florida State University. We were freshmen in college. We met and we said, we both use baby wipes. All these guys are using this savage, thin sandpaper, see-through toilet paper. And we said, let's embark on this journey to start bringing new people into using this amazing hygiene routine. And people initially thought that we were crazy.
Was it like the scene in Step Brothers where you're like, wait, you have baby wipes? Did we just become best friends?
Exactly. Yes. It was exactly like that, Nick. And it was like the Spider-Man meme. And we're in the bathroom and we're like, wait a second, we got to tell everyone. So we start telling everyone thinks we're crazy. Within 30 days, guys, girls, word spread. People would start coming up to us because we would have baby wipes in Ziploc bags, and we would carry them around with us in our backpacks. And we were the baby wipe guys among, being other entrepreneurial endeavors and journeys. Yeah. So it was pretty wild. And
did you become a baby wipe pusher? Were you like selling, packages of 100 baby wipes? You like go to Costco, you get the big old packages, you piecemeal them down?
Everything for free, man. Just, hey, we're here. It's a philanthropy. We knew we'd make our money on the back end when we started a brand around it.
Hey, you made your money on the back end. Did you start it as a joke? Were you like, hey, this is fun. Let's do this crazy thing. And like, at what point did you have the idea of maybe this could be a business?
Yeah, it was a couple years after college. So Charlie and I, my co-founder,
really?
we started with a franchising brand called Complete Nutrition, ironically based out of Omaha, Nebraska. So we had spent a period of time there. We were traveling around working for them as consultants while waiting to open up our franchise. And this idea kept gnawing at us in the back of our head in 2012 and 2013 that we could come to market and address these issues that we saw with ingredients, with lack of flushability from baby wipes being made out of plastic or long fibers, address the concerns that I had as someone with IBS, knowing that a lot of my peers and Americans had it. Charlie with sensitive skin, and really come up with something that we felt would, wipe the masses and bring this cool factor and this modernization factor of saying, hey, it's permissible to use wipes and we could talk about it. And so after we left Complete Nutrition, said we want to start this company. We had no idea what we were doing in 2013. We started it out of my parents' house in Orlando, Florida. Shortly thereafter, put one foot in front of the other, hustled, grinded to figure out how to bring this brand to where we are now, which is in over 14,000 stores, like you and I were talking about earlier.
You worked your butt off. You hustled and grinded. I don't know how many of them I'm going to get in, but I'm going to get in as many as I can.
I think we're at like 6 right now.
That's going to be the title of this episode. Is like, hey, this is a drinking game. Anytime you hear a play on words or a dad joke, a pun about butts, like just take a shot. What did you do in that first year? So when you made the decision, you're like, all right, let's go mom and dad's house. We're going to launch out of Orlando. Let's not do nutrition franchise anymore. What were sales year one?
Oh my God, sales year one. I think the first 6 months were like $42,000 total. That's a thing that, I want entrepreneurs to understand. And by the way, there are so many people that I know that started with more resources or were way smarter about how they approach market and had a more relevant go-to-market and product market fit strategy than we did. But our first year in business, I think we did 150,000 in sales. Year two was like 172,000, followed by 270, followed by 870, then into 1 million and beyond. But it can be a long grind, and you really got to love what you're doing. And by the way, it doesn't have to be as slow and laborious and tedious as it was for us. But if you really care about something and you believe in something and you're not just doing it for, hey, I see this opportunity that I'm going to exit in 3 years, knowing that it took us, maybe 5 or 6 years to get to our first million, or 4 or 5 years, is something that I think people should really keep in mind, that you got to be dedicated to the passion and the craft in order to be able to grow something.
There were a couple things at play here. There were a couple of kind of big macro trends. Number one, you were riding the wave for this personal hygiene. I don't even know what to call it. People using baby wipes to wipe instead of toilet paper.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I won't divulge them, but somebody very close to me who lives with me 24/7 has been an avid user for years. So that's happening, right? That's a good macro trend. You have this other macro trend where people are being shipped subscription boxes. You probably remember this because you're going to college around the same time. Do you remember when Dollar Shave Club launched?
I do remember when Dollar Shave Club launched.
Dude, like an amazing launch, irreverent humor. If anybody can, go check out like their original launch. I don't even know what to call it, but like the subscription of, hey, I can sign up and every month I get my Dollar Shave Club kit. And like, oh, now I have Hims, which is for men because I can, fix my male pattern baldness, et cetera. So you had like these two things, but they weren't major trends in 2012, 2013. They were kind of like in the beginning phases of it. So you've like taken advantage of that over time. I promise I'm getting somewhere with this long-winded question. How did you know that was going to be a thing? Like, how did you know that those trends were going to come to fruition? Or did you not know and you just thought, you know what? I like this business. I'm just going to go all in on this business.
It was less about the model and more about knowing that, seeing the authentic resonance of our peer group, right, in college, knowing that if we gave them a baby wipe, that they would take it and use it, and that there was that, near immediate, that second trial coming back to us and saying, hey, I got to get more, but I don't want to go to the store and get it. Let me get yours. It was that repeat situation over and over again. That's what gave us the confidence. And so it was that intuition, that gut that we had, that then as we materialized and professionalized the company 5 years later, we started getting access to the data that gave us that rigor and that institutional knowledge that backed up our intuition to get to where we are today, right? Understanding the size of the category.
You launched the business on intuition, though. You didn't see the numbers until a few years in.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
That is so crazy to me.
Yeah. I feel like Charlie and I do feel like we've always been at the forefront of trends. At least that's something that we used to say early when we started the brand, to say, hey, like we believe in our gut. Of all the ups and downs and sideways and personals and this and that, one thing I was thinking about this recently that has always felt true to myself, and I could speak for Charlie as well, is we've had unwavering confidence that this brand would work and develop into the vision that we have for it. We've always known that since day one. We didn't know the roadmap. We didn't have the path there, but we were so convicted in every bone in our body. We never had to convince ourselves that this would work. It was all the details within that we didn't have the visibility to, that we had to figure out along the way, and we're still figuring out things. We always just knew. And so I think we're fortunate to have had that conviction in the market and in what we're building.
Well, I think people talk down on passion. They're like, oh, passion doesn't matter. Pick the right business. Passion does matter, especially when you're launching something in a new category that is, there's not a lot of adoption to it. And you've got to stick through things in the face of a lot of adversity. And you guys you've been using the product for years. You liked the product, or at least at the time, there was a big need for change because you can't just flush baby wipes down the toilet. Well, you can. You're not supposed to just flush baby wipes down the toilet. I think that was one of the funny things in my research, just finding is there like a responsible flushing federation? Is that the name of?
I was just going to say, actually, as someone who's on the board of the Responsible Flushing Alliance, I can't even say that you cannot flush baby wipes. And we have so much data that backs us up, knowing that when we do wastewater surveys, if you go into the sewage systems of any municipality across the country, Northern California, Southern California, Jacksonville, Maine, Bronx, anywhere, London, that when you go into those systems and you start parsing out the particles, those sewer systems, what you will find is that over 99% each and every time are either paper towels, feminine hygiene products like pads and tampons, baby wipes, and paper towels. And I got to say this, I never believed that people actually flush paper towels until I was at the doctor's office yesterday doing a little, pee sample. And I look in the toilet and lo and behold, there's a paper towel. And I took a picture of it. I'm like, I cannot believe people are doing this. Do not do this. Do not do it. You can't do it.
Did you post it to the Responsible Flushing Federation's Instagram? Were you like, hey guys, we can't be doing this. Let's spread awareness.
I haven't yet. I need to figure out. I'm probably going to just post on LinkedIn with no contacts. I think that's what I'm going to do.
The thing I love about your business is I've always wanted to have a company or start a company that I could do irreverent marketing with. So I'll give two examples. One was Dollar Shave Club. He's got the video where he's marketing it and he's like, your grandfather only used one blade and he was handsome as hell. And he, throws it. One of my favorite ads of all time. I don't know if you've ever seen the Kmart ad where they were advertising free shipping. Bro,
no, I haven't seen that.
This up. Oh yeah. These people in the store and they're talking to each other as free shipping. And they go like this. I can ship my pants. Yeah, you can ship your pants. I can ship my pants right here. Really? Hey, Mark, it's free shipping. I just shipped my drawers. I just shipped my bed. You're like, wait a second. Did he just say what I don't even, it's one of my favorite ads of all time because it's funny. It's it plays on it. I think your brand is ripe for that. Did you know it up front or did you just make a decision at some point? You're like, I got to lean into this.
Again, that was that intuition. And we were really, by the way, that Kmart commercial I haven't seen. I need to see it. That sounds amazing. Way to go, Kmart. Wish you guys were still around in the US. That should be heralded for generations to come. We were very lucky. Charlie and I, we like sales. We like marketing. We like being in front of people. But we knew we needed help. And so I think it was 1.5 years or 2 years into the business, we were able to bring on our creative director, Maria Gilbo, Maria G, the Hustle Bee. She's been with us for 9 years now, almost 10. Actually, I think 10. Yeah, 9.5 years. She's been amazing.
Maria B, the Hustle G?
Maria G, the Hustle Bee. So bzz, like buzzing around.
I love it, dude. I love it.
She did so much for us. She does all of our packaging. She now has a design team at the company that really sets our brand apart. And we lean into that high aesthetic, high design, married with the irreverent, elegant copy, and creates a really unique formula that no one in the category is doing. Is actually, I think, really unique to consumer branding in general.
Well, I mean, worked out for Dollar Shave Club. They got acquired by Unilever, I think, for like $1 billion.
That's right.
I think 10 years ago at this point, or something ridiculous. So are you going after that Unilever money or what, dude? Is that the goal?
We're focused on building the biggest and best brand that we can for consumers. That's what we care about. And we work with retailers to make sure that we achieve that. That's all that matters to us.
In the beginning, what was your North Star metric? Because it would seem to me, if you have a brand like that, you kind of would just focus on marketing. You're like, oh, we could blow this up. If we go to Facebook ads or if we go to Google, whatever, pay-per-click, we'll just blow this thing up and the business will work. Was that your North Star when you started out or what?
No. Okay. So, and this is something I think I'm hoping that the audience takes away as something that's important is while in hindsight, I wish we had this professional KPI that we have now, which is it's household penetration. For us, then it started as survival. I would say phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the company is we need to survive. Yes, we have revenue goals. Yes, we want to grow by 50 to 100% year over year, every single year from a revenue basis. But it's about survival and building a story that just gets us to that next level to get us to win. And so eventually we became focused on velocity. So dollars per ACV per door or units per store per week to start in the retailers that we were in.
What's ACV? Sorry.
ACV is all commodity volume. It's a weighted measurement across, let's say you say Walmart, what's your Walmart ACV? Well, if you're in 2,000 stores, not every store is the same. Maybe a store in Miami, Florida might do 100 times the volume of Spokane, Washington, just because of the laws of power dynamics of the population, right? So that's what ACV does, is it equivalizes everything for you. And so it wants to look at how much product are you actually moving out of the store, which is what retailers care about for a brand. So that was I would say, you have survival, then you have what's your velocity focus. And now we're focused on, hey, let's go get households. We know we're a great brand. Let's go get more households and get deeper within those households.
That was the strategy first, is like, hey, let's go sell into these retailers and then we can go direct to consumer?
So we said, hey, what's a way that we can grow Bootstrap as efficient as possible with a little bit of angel money? And we felt like retailers was the best avenue. And we would do a couple of retailers, prove out, couple more, prove out, couple more, prove out. It was very methodical. We were comfortable being a little bit slower back in that day, building a foundation. And also, quite frankly, Charlie and I's skill set was we understood and we learned how to develop relationships with retailers and how to work that system and ecosystem. Start learning how that works and knowing that would be where the bulk of the business was anyway.
So the first couple of years, if I remember correctly, you were like year 1, 150, year 2, 170, year 3, 270, year 4, 770, somewhere in those numbers. And then you hit above $1 million. What was your main customer acquisition channel in those first few years? Because it sounds like you weren't doing hey, what was our ROAS? How much money did we spend on ads? It sounds like you were going the distribution model.
What we began with was this idea that we were going to start going to these trade, like America's Gift Mart in Atlanta, and just say, we need to sell into retail now. And because we didn't have a lot of money, I think we each seeded it with like $12,000. And we were like, let's just buy product and sell it. Buy product, sell it. So we buy product, sell it at these trade shows. Then after 18 months and going to 20 or so these trade shows across the country, we realized this product should be moving a little bit faster. Like, a pharmacy in so-and-so Colorado says that it's doing well, but they've only ordered $500 from us and ordered 3 times this year. We need to get more product moving. And so we partnered with a startup accelerator in 2016 called the Brandery out of Cincinnati. That's where we really learned this institutional knowledge. We got set up with Kroger to have meetings with them, to learn with brokers how to work within the systems of presenting what a retailer wants to hear, and actually providing us with strategy that we would take with us for the next few years to build out businesses that win with retail. We had mentors that worked at Procter & Gamble, worked on the world's biggest brands, global brand manager of Pampers, a number of other folks in that Cincinnati ecosystem, which is truly still the best CPG city probably in the world, maybe tied with Bentonville, just based on the dual factor of P&G plus Kroger and a number of other ones that have presence there.
Was it just different back then? Because like if I talk to anybody today, they're like, oh, dude, your customer acquisition cost can be so low. If you go to Meta, they do such a good job of targeting, and your ROAS can be 4 times, blah, blah, blah. Back then, was it different? Is that why you decided, hey, instead of the D2C, let's go and try to sell into retail?
I think we were right at the early cusp when people weren't even talking about ROAS. People weren't on Meta. There was not a big e-commerce world. It was the first few were starting out, the Birchboxes, a few of those Ipsy, the sample boxes, and Dollar Shave Club. And that was about it. I think Harry's started a few years later, maybe 2016 or 17, which is like 3 or 4 years after Dollar Shave Club. There really wasn't like a big ecosystem. And again, no one should forget, all those brands raised millions and millions and millions of dollars, to the tune of not 5, not 10. You're talking $50 to $100 million for some of those brands that launched their customer acquisition. So whenever someone says, it was easy, yeah, like, yes, maybe the ROAS were higher, there was less competition, but people were still utilizing additional incremental resources to achieve their goals, right? And I'm not demonizing that at all. I just want people to think about that. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you remember this, but when we started this podcast, we entered into a social contract. I would spend time, energy, and money producing this podcast, interviewing these individuals and giving you insights into how to build, buy, start, grow your business. And you would like, subscribe, and leave me 5-star review. Now, out of that, we both get to talk to really cool people and hear really cool insights. We both get a ton of value. But I just want to help you keep your word. So would you do me a favor? Will you go leave a 5-star review for me on Apple or Spotify? It would really help. And if you want, even share this with a friend. A crazy stat is like 50% almost of all venture dollars raised go to Google or Meta because they need customer acquisition. They need to grow the brand. They need to grow awareness, right? Like that, it takes a lot of money to grow brand awareness. So I totally get it from that perspective. But many times, like you're saying, they're just pouring money into a fire and hoping that it works out as opposed to having a tactical approach. Let me ask you this. So the year that you went from like 250 to 750, let's just say triple the business, how did you do that? Because there's a lot of companies that get to the low 6 figures and they just don't know how to scale. Or they might get a large purchase order and then all of a sudden they're like, crap, I don't know how to fulfill this. And so they kind of just stay stuck at this $100,000-$300,000 mark. But you accelerated really quickly. Did you have good supplier relationships? I don't even know like how you manufacture these.
Yeah, we
China
did.
or using the United States? Okay.
Yeah, so we were doing some stuff overseas at that time. We had global supply chain network. What we were doing was we would get these retail deals and then we would go sell them to others. So we had some up and down. We gained some distribution, lost some distribution. This was actually in the feminine hygiene category. We ended up getting in there first because honestly, flushable wipes were not growing as much at that time to where retailers were letting it in. They say, yeah, okay. And then our first real big break was 2019 when we got into HEB, or maybe it's 2018 we got into HEB, and then more retailers. So then we got into Rayleigh's in 2020 and Market Basket in 2021 and Hannaford in end of 2021. And we would add a retailer, a couple regional retailers every year, absolutely kill it and start have a better story to tell. And then all of a sudden we were in Target with chain-wide distribution. I think that was 2 years ago, but 2021 was our first year that we launched in Target more in the flushable wipe space. Walmart, we launched 3 years ago.
How much of killing it is just because you're benefiting from tailwinds of, hey, this product category is growing, and how much of killing it is like, well, we knew exactly which spot on the shelf to put it on and how to communicate that to the distributors. Like I don't know anything about placing product into retail. So in my mind, it's like, well, you just put it on the shelf and you see if it sells. But there's probably more to that than my just stupid perception, right?
So, if you think of marketing, it's the 4 Ps. It's price, product, placement, and promotions. And we mastered those. We absolutely mastered those and said, hey, we're a bootstrap company. We have finite resources. We need to win on the 4 Ps or we're screwed. And I think those fundamentals are really important. And so we did a really, really sound job of managing those 4 Ps, picking the right category, and coming with the right packaging approach to ensure that whether we were on the top, middle, or bottom shelf, that we would stand out on the shelf. And we've achieved that. Like I showed you, no one else has a pink rosewater package, right? And that stands out to consumers. We've even seen studies of some friends of ours on LinkedIn that show that in Target, our products are actually the most eye-catching. So we've leaned into that heavily. That was a huge amount of the tailwind. I think I was sharing with you earlier, stat, that in Walmart alone, we brought 40% of our customers that we brought to the category have never shopped the category before. So yeah, there's tailwinds, but we're actually bringing more new customers and households to the category than any other brand. So we are clearly doing something different and better than others. And I think part of that is due to, again, the bootstrap influencer PR box strategy that we're doing. And again, the 4 Ps and how we present ourselves on shelf.
What's the PR box and the influencer strategy? I don't know that. I mean, I know what those words are. I just don't know what your strategy is.
So our PR strategy, let's call it every 1 to 2 months, if there's a big holiday or seasonality, we'll do a PR box, really well designed. I don't happen to have one on me right now. Let's say, for example, this summer, we did a summer PR box, and it's the Good Wipes Juicy Booty Beach Club. So there's a hat, there's a towel, there's product in there, and we send it to 300 to 500 influencers. So let's call it, we do 6 maybe a year, and they repost it, and you get millions of organic impressions from that. And that is honestly has been our biggest lever. And then on top of that, we're now doing skits with influencers We'll get samples into running clubs. We'll infiltrate the fitness space. We work with On Brand for sampling. So sample all of those kind of fundamentals of, get wipe to butt. It has rung true for us in terms of efficacy.
It's easy to look back right now and be like, dude, it's just been a rocket ship. Like you described those first 4 years. That's incredible growth. But you guys had some major setbacks. One of those was you tried to go on Shark Tank and pitch the sharks. Tell me about that experience.
We wanted to go on Shark Tank. However, we actually didn't get selected. And it was funny. The story actually is they called me and I was picking up my dad at the airport and I was afraid I was going to have service because sometimes it's like gets sketchy in that area. And the airport was a mess. And I'm like, let me do it after this call. And they're like, well, we don't have time. And then the next week they just left the voicemail like, hey, you guys are out. So unfortunately, we never made it. Yeah. We never made it to be able to get on there. So
how did you feel after that? Was it just like, whatever, no sweat off my back? Or like, were you bummed?
I was pissed. Are you kidding? We could have been on Shark Tank.
What year was it?
That would have been 2015, actually. 2014, 2015. So very early on. We wouldn't have been able to handle it, to be honest with you. There's no way.
You think that like the publicity around it just would have driven a bunch of orders that you wouldn't have been able to fulfill?
Yeah, I think it would have sent us into chaos. And I don't think our brand was as good as it is now.
How big was your team in 2015?
Oh my God, it was just Charlie, Maria, and myself. I think it was just three people.
The thing I keep coming back to is like you experience a lot of growth, but a lot of entrepreneurs experience early growth and then they hit the ceiling and they can't break past the ceiling. And for some, it's $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. But usually there's a ceiling that somebody hits. It's very rare to get to where you are, a 9-figure brand, 10-figure brand, 11-figure brand.
Stop. I can't.
I'm just
kidding.
I'm just kidding. I know. I'm kidding.
We have ambitions. I can tell you our ambition is to become $1 billion brand and the category leader. We have full conviction that our brand will be able to do that.
It's a 2-part question. Like, how did you get through those ceilings? Like, what do you feel like was the differentiated strategy, trait, whatever that allowed you to get there? And then 2, at what point did you realize, this isn't just a cool product that can be even a lifestyle business? Like this could be $1 billion brand.
I think it was continuing to see the traction in the marketplace. And whenever we'd enter a new retailer and quickly getting sales and continuing to grow, for example, a few in the Northeast where we are the number one retailer, or actually the number one brand with the number one item and have more market share than the rest of our competitors, including legacy, including private label. And so when we see those wins start to stack up, it gives you that confidence to say, wait a second, we are coming in unannounced, not a big marketing budget. I mean, no marketing budget compared to these other guys. And we're just bringing, not even, I don't want to say taking share. We're taking share from toilet paper. We're bringing new users to this category merely by existing and doing very small retail, partnering with the retailers. I think that has differentiated us. Instead of, a lot of people think Target, Walmart, or Costco or Amazon. They only think in terms of 1 to 4 retailers for a brand. For us, it's simply not true. We think of the entire retail ecosystem. We serve underserved retailers that have maybe 100 to 300 doors. A lot of people kind of write those off. We build really big outside businesses there. And we're not afraid to do so. We're not afraid to lean in. We're not afraid to dedicate resources. And that's been a strategy that most people don't deploy.
Can you help me understand that? What does that mean? We help underserved.
If the rest of the category, let's say our competitors are exclusively focused on Target and Walmart, we go to other retailers and we say, hey, we give them data that other people aren't giving them. We're giving them access and insights and saying, we're going to give you more promotional dollars. We're going to dedicate more energy and time. Here's shippers, here's off shelves. We're dedicating resources and energy to building your business because we know the category is going to win here. And when we do that, we win. And then it creates this flywheel of success where then they say, oh, Good Wipes, thank you so much. You're going above and beyond everyone else. We want more from you.
Because these retailers they're trying to figure out, okay, not only will Good Wipes sell in our store, will Good Wipes bring new people into our store? And will they get people to come back to our store?
Exactly. Like, will this brand care about my store, or are they just using me for shelf space? We don't do that. We don't use people for shelf space. We come in and create additional value unlocks.
You said something earlier. I can't remember. Are they like, it's not generic, but let's say Walmart comes out with their own flushable wipes.
Yeah, private label. Yep.
Private label. Thank you. Did private label flushable wipes exist in 2013, 2014 when you launched?
I honestly don't remember. I think it started out around then. Yes, probably in Walmart, who is obviously they're good at everything they do, especially supply chain logistics. They have that buying power. They did, but it was all still very small. Again, the category's doubled in the past 10 years.
I'm curious, like, was there ever a whole holy crap moment of like, oh, Kroger's coming out with their own private label?
Yeah, a lot of the private label has already been there by the time that we got into the category and some of these retailers. It's never bothered us. In fact, private label continues to lose share, and we're one of two brands gaining significant share. So people are trading up, people are leaving. If they're investing in this, they want a full holistic wellness experience, not just baseline bottom of the barrel sanitization, which is what private label typically provides.
Was that first product, did you create it, or was it something that was existing on the market that you white labeled?
No. We created it.
How did you create it?
What we did was we would look at every single wipe on the market, try it out, say what we did and didn't like. When we would try it, we would tell our manufacturer that we were working with what was wrong with it. And we would come back and tell them the ingredients that we wanted because of the ingredient profile. And we came up with something that we finally felt good about.
When we were talking before we hopped on and actually started recording, I was asking you some questions about like sales volumes and revenue numbers. And those weren't like off the top of your head. You just didn't have them on the tip of your tongue. So it's obvious those aren't necessarily things that you talk about internally within the company. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. You do talk about them, but it's not like your North Star. What internally right now is the North Star of Good Wipes? Like, how do you measure success?
Yeah, for us, success looks like continuing to win with velocities in stores, number one. And two, it's really a byproduct of household penetration, right? So if we're at, 2.5 some change million households, and there's 100 million households in the United States, we need to get to 3 million. We need to get to 4 million. We need to get to 5 million, 6 million, and hold that repeat, right? So repeat's important to us too. We have the highest repeat percentage rate in the category. Household acquisition and bringing those new customers that's our North Star.
If you're giving advice to an entrepreneur who's starting out, they're starting their first business, and let's say it is a CPG like you launched, what's your biggest piece of advice for them to, maybe not the level of success that you have, because that's fairly rare, but just to have a brand that is sustainable and a good business that lasts for the long term?
Yeah, I think you need to mix your passion with level-headedness, right? You need to find out when you dial that optimism versus bringing in some reality into the mix. And it's all about knob turning, right? You have to figure out knob turning of when you're going to go in founder mode and when you're going to go into, hey, it's really important to have other people that are better than me on a team doing this. That's super important. And then the last one is focus. You cannot be chasing all these things. Whether you're 0, whether you're 100 million, you have got to be focused in business in order to win. Otherwise, you're going to be spread way too far.
What are some things you've turned down, like that were appealing? You're like, oh, this could be a good thing, but you're like, I can't do that right now.
There was a number of years where we said, even though we were having really good success in all of these retailers I told you about, where we told retailers, hey, we're not going to pursue you. Hey, we're not going to take this deal. We said no to a lot of retailers.
Really?
Said, let's talk next year. Yep.
Balls of steel. Wait, whoa. Yeah. Hold on. I got to double click on this. How do you tell somebody no?
You just say, hey, look, we think we could serve you better once we continue growing the brand, and then free up supply chain and dedicate resources to you. It's all about building a focused growth story.
Was it a marketing tactic? It's like let's say you're trying to get with a girl and you're like, oh, I'm gonna play hard to get, right? And like, oh, they want you even more. Were you like, nah, this is what we're going to do on purpose?
That wasn't the fundamental driver. Is, hey, like, let's make sure if we're going to go somewhere, we want to win. We're not going anywhere to lose. So we're not showing up at second best. We're not half-assing it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very serious about that. I think that's important for people to think about with expansion.
Dude, that is phenomenal. So I had an e-commerce business and we screwed it up. We got like 5,000 orders. It was a high ticket item. It was like $5,000 per item. So we have like all these orders coming in, but we didn't have fulfillment lined up. And guess what? It went kaput. Like we screwed ourselves there. But that just taught me, like, don't launch something unless you're ready to actually do the fulfillment on it. So were there any companies like, let's say Rayleigh's, for example? I don't know if they were one of them, but they came to you and they're like, hey, we want to put you in 100 of our stores. And you're looking at that saying that could be $1 million a year for us. And you said no.
We didn't do it with Rayleigh's, but there were customers like Rayleigh's. We really needed, and shout out to Jeff. He gave us an opportunity, and I think we're the number one brand there. Now,
Nice.
there were a few, I don't remember all the names, but it was like a period of a year where we said, hey, we're not going to go. It also depends on when their timeline is, right? So if they're like, hey, we need you in 2 months, we'd say, we're not going to do that, right? Like, we're going to screw everything up. It's going to waste resources, cause distraction. We're not going to do that. Let's talk and plan together for next year.
Like, how big would their purchase order have been?
It doesn't matter how big it is, just to turn it around and rededicate resources just wouldn't make sense.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you. I'm just trying to think of it from you and your partner's perspective. If you got a PO sitting on your desk and it's like, oh, this could be $5 million for us next year.
You have to have the confidence to turn something down and also make the call. Like, if you should take it, then take it, right? It's time. So if you know that you can go and get something later and say, hey, let's keep in touch. Let us continue to add value, even if we're not there, share insights with you, and then come back and say, let's build. And it works.
I freaking love this philosophy because there's so much out there that's like, no, man, you just make it happen. No, you just freaking get it done. And like, to take that opposite approach of, actually, you have to have a lot of conviction to say no. It's not just you have to have a lot of conviction to say yes. You have to have a lot of conviction.
It's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but you have to be selective of what, and it's all timing. When is your yes? When is your no?
Okay, next 5 years, Good Wipes. What is your main focus right now? Like, how are you thinking about getting into more households around the United States?
That's the name of the game. It's just awareness. It's coming up with amazing creative marketing that attracts people. We're not pushing, we're attracting people to the category. Boots in the ground sampling at events. We have our Golden Porta Palace, which is our pop-up porta potty. Golden. We have 2 of them.
Oh my gosh. How did we not talk about the Porta Palace?
Yes, I know. It's awesome. It's so awesome.
Tell us about the Porta Palace.
I'm booking myself into a follow-up episode for the team. Yeah, we have a Porta Palace. It's 3 bathrooms. It's gold inside, gold outside, all fully branded. It's air conditioned. It has music playing. It's an Oasis experience. It's unbelievable. Obviously, Good Wipes are in there. We spray it down and clean it after every use, and it's in VIPs and the best and the coolest festivals around the country.
You got to get Trump.
Yeah, we
all
should.
gold.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
we cater to all butts.
That'd be polarizing. Too polarizing.
He's a little polarizing, perhaps, but
okay.
Yeah.
Sam, freaking incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. Obviously, people can go look you up on a website. Where's the best place for people to come find you?
Yeah, if you want to find me, you can find me, connect with me at LinkedIn. Oh man, I always change my name. Sam Marcus Nebel. You'll find me there if you type in Good Wipes. And if you want to find Good Wipes, more importantly, because the brand is way cooler than I am, if you want to find these luscious rosewater, shea cocoa, lavender, botanical bliss, or cedar wipes, you can easily go to Amazon and just type in Good Wipes, GOODWIPES, or Kroger, or Walmart, or Target, or a grocery store near you. Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate it, man.
Wiping the floor with the competition.
That's right. Nickonomics. Let's go.
All right. Hopefully you liked that episode. And if you've made it this far, you're either really committed or you're stuck doing yard work and you can't actually skip on your phone. So while I have you, the show is growing, but I have a favor to ask of you. Will you please help me grow the show? I want to reach more people. There's a couple things that you can do. Like and subscribe is the simplest thing. Obviously, you want to get notifications for when the next episode is coming out. But if you go the next step, will you leave me a review? 5-star on Spotify or Apple. What that does is it tells the algorithm that, oh, hey, this is a high value podcast because more people are leaving reviews for it, and it then pushes it out to more people. So that's why when people are like, will you like and subscribe and put a 5-star rating? It's not just to make themselves feel better. It's actually to get more exposure for the show. So if you do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.